So we're live. Okay. Hi. This is my second live little vlog. The first one I talked about the beginning parts of my near-death experience when I had the car accident. I explained the car accident up until when the x-rays came and showed me that I had 6 broken ribs, 3 displaced ribs, and a broken sternum. So, while I was in the emergency room, the care that I received was horrible. Like, I can't even express how horrible that it was. They didn't have any beds for me to let me in, so I just spent the time in the actual emergency room on an emergency room cot with these injuries. And they sent me for a CAT scan. I've never had one before. It was my first one. For my ribs to see about my lungs to make sure that there was nothing going to puncture my lungs, and it came back fine and I was okay. And then they decided that they wanted to do 2 more CAT scans where I had to drink this contrast stuff to see if there was any internal bleeding in up by near my neck and in my chest. So they sent me for 2 more of those. And it seemed that every time someone came in to care for me, they didn't know why I was there. Several times they went to go take my blood pressure on my right side, and they were just like flomping my arm around, poking around down there as if I didn't have broken bones. Oftentimes they had to check and recheck about the medications I was supposed to be getting. It was just like a freaking free for all, and it was really disheartening. I had stayed in the sheets, the same sheets that when they gave me the IV, it bled on the sheets, and I was in those sheets for 3 days before anybody changed them, and it's because I asked them to change them. I asked for a maxi pad. They didn't get it to me for 2 days later. My mother was with me and asked for a pillow, and that even wasn't, they were like, let me see what I can find. I only had a bed sheet for the first 2 nights. It was horrible, to say the least. So when the surgeon had gone over all of my CAT scans to see if I needed surgery, because they told me that it was possible that I needed metal plates in my chest or on my ribs to connect them, and he said that it's just at the point where I don't need the surgery, praise God. And he didn't need to come down to see me, but he wanted to let me know how incredibly lucky that I was. And he told me that the force that it took to break the ribs and the bones that I broke, apparently they are in areas of your ribs that don't just normally break. They're like the hardest ones to break or something like that. Sorry, I'm in a little bit of pain. And it hurts to talk a little bit. He said that 50% of the time, a force like that would have killed someone on impact. He said that because of my fitness level and the kind of car that I was driving had a lot to do with why I didn't sustain injuries that were equal to the force that I took. So I just need to encourage you to take care of yourself, your health, get strong, lift weights, build muscle, because it's not just about the way you look. It's life or death in circumstances that you can't control. So also when I was in the emergency room, they were giving me medication in my IV. They were giving me pain medication in my IV, and the doctor told me that I should stay an additional 24 hours just for pain control, pain management. And they still hadn't found a room for me. And when they were coming to put the medicine in my IV, I wasn't feeling anything. I was like, I don't feel any relief from the pain. And they were like, oh, it could be this, it could be that. But I just thought that was really strange. And then it turns out that 2 of the doses that they tried to put in my IV weren't going into my into my body at all. It was just soaking up the cotton that was underneath because the IV was compromised. So I had gone 12 hours without any pain medication, and it was excruciating. So it just it was just disheartening, and like the whole environment was bringing me down. Being in the emergency room in excruciating pain, not having any pain meds for at least that 12 hours, and God knows how much longer than that, because I had to ask them every single time to bring me something. Even food, they forgot that I was there or something and weren't feeding me. It's crazy. I know this sounds crazy. And then also being in the ER, it's like freaking bizarre what people go to the emergency room for. It's borderline abusive of a privilege. And it's kind of sick to me. It was like whole families in the middle of the night and just people just whining for nothing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I sound cruel, but here I was trying to be on my best behavior with broken ribs and a cracked sternum, and there's people in there saying like their eye itched. Like grown men about their eyes being itchy. And like this one woman came in and she was moaning. These are the ones that just stick out in my memory. There were so many more. Babies crying around the clock. It's got to be horrible for recovery hearing that kind of thing, being in that kind of environment. Why they didn't try better to find me a room is beyond me. I think they honestly did forget I was there for quite some time. And a woman was there and she was like really moaning, like seriously moaning right outside my door. And her child was there with her. I guess it was her child, I don't know. And another woman. And this child had on like full virtual reality gear on the top of his lungs, acting like he's fighting Darth Vader, going like pew 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 with this virtual reality stuff. It was at night. It was nighttime. It was like midnight. It was time for everyone to be sleeping. And she's moaning like crazy with her kid acting like it was a war zone. I'm trying to sleep on my emergency room cot in my dirty sheets with no medication. It was just an experience I never want to have again. And then also the homeless people trying to come in just to get warm and to sleep. This one guy came in, there was more than one, but this one in particular was like, I know why you're not giving me my cough syrup. It's because I look like a junkie. And he was clearly a junkie. And they didn't give him the cough syrup. And they were like, we can give you some Mucinex for that. And he's like, what the fuck is that going to do? Like, it was just bad. And then they were like, okay, well, you can leave now. And he was like, they told me I could stay till 6. And they were like, well, you're discharged and we need the space because we're really crowded down here. And he ended up falling asleep right outside my door in the emergency room. Security had to come to take him away. And he's like being dragged away saying, I thought I could stay till 6. Like it was, I can't even, like it was prison. It was like worse, I think, than prison. The food was horrible. I had to beg for a pillow. And the Wi-Fi sucked. On top of it all. So when they finally did get me a room, it wasn't a room, it was a holding area for the ER. But at least the bed was an actual bed, and they remembered that I needed to eat. So that was pleasant. And then they actually explained to me the pain management medication, so we were able to write a pain management schedule, but it wasn't until the very last day. So finally I was able to leave. They also told me my doctor was coming and she didn't come for the entire day. And she actually didn't even come the next day. Called in and said, okay, you can let her go home now. I don't know. So they sent me to the pharmacy to pick up pain medication, and it is not good enough. It's not good enough by far. Like, I'm writhing. You know, like, do you even know? Like, I know that there's a saying called writhing in pain, but there is an actual physical movement that you do. Your whole body just kind of shifts to try to find comfort somewhere. and it's just not there. Uh, so I have a follow-up appointment with a primary physician today, hopefully to get a better medication. And the reason why they told me is because the prescription was called in, and you can't call in a narcotic, and the medication that I need for the pain is categorized as a narcotic. So I need to have a written prescription for this. So that's where I'm actually on my way to in a little bit. The appointment's at 12. And I'm going to be posting videos for my recovery. I was supposed to participate in the 250K challenge, and I know that I said this in the video before, but I'm a fitness professional, I'm a weight loss coach, and I coach people through this 12-week challenge once a year, and then I also have a 6-week program that I coach people through the rest of the year. And since I was supposed to start on Monday, I was like totally prepared to go balls to the wall in my fitness and my meal plans and all of that. So I'm taking the energy that I was going to and the documentation that I was going to use through that fitness journey for the 12 weeks, and I'm going to apply it here to my recovery journey, and I'm hoping to still participate in the challenge. I'm hoping that in being strict and purposeful with the foods that I eat and the exercises of the recovery that I do now will allow me to actually participate in the last 6 weeks of the challenge and really find some lasting change. I'm not quitting just because this happened to me. I'm finding that it matters. The way that you react to hardships have a direct reflection off the way your character is in the future. And if you want to build and grow, and if you want to be just a better person, you really have to pay attention to the way that you react to things that happen to you, and just be thankful for the things that you have in the moment. So this is going to be my little bit of a journey through that. I'm going to share the foods that I'm eating, the supplements that I'm taking to promote the bones repairing themselves, and just kind of a journey, and hopefully to help people who may be in a similar situation, maybe on bed rest, maybe just feeling like poor me, or why did this have to happen? Maybe I can encourage someone. So just check out my channel for daily updates for my recovery, and I would love to hear some feedback and stuff. This video is getting kind of long, so this is going to be my last live video explaining the whole situation, but I'm sure I'll pop on here live some other times, and that's it, y'all. Catch you on the fit side.